The true Song of Ice and Fire starts now. Hey, it's Key McKay. Now as 2018 comes to a close, Game of Thrones gets closer and closer than ever before. With this being the final season, every single episode is going to be intense and jam-packed full of action. All of our favourite characters that we thought would last forever because of course they're making it to the end. Well, the end is here. So maybe, so is theirs. So let's get in this teaser. So the White Walkers approach, getting closer and closer. The ice envelops not only the north, but the symbol of the Starks, encompassing almost all of the wolf, but a tiny bit at the head. What does that mean? Well, we see a single-headed dragon also encompassed by this ice, clearly signifying Viserion, and how he was killed and raised from the dead. So what can we imply from that? Back to the wolf. Does this mean the Starks will lose in their first fight? Will most of them die as the White Walkers approach? Or will it mean, let's say, Nymeria, or some direwolf, is also raised from the dead? They may not be that clever in this teaser, maybe it's just supposed to be some cool promo, and we're kind of overthinking things here, and it's just symbolizing a wolf that's already died and maybe brought back as a white summer. Or maybe I should say, winter now. Okay, so that's pretty simple now. We have the fire symbolizing Daenerys, fire and blood, the Targaryen way, her dragons. As she creeps up from the south with Dawn on her side, the Reach on her side, powering through Cersei and igniting the Lion on the way, the Lannisters. Not exactly the best foreshadowing for Cersei or the Lannister house in general. And may be interesting to see the two families that have been neck and neck the whole time, the Lannisters and Starks, the people who have had this ancient history that's been brought up from the War of the Roses by George R. R. Martin, where they've been constantly fighting, backstabbing, and the whole plot has been this kind of tension between their two forces. If they both get taken out by third parties rather than each other, they just weaken each other to a point that they basically destroy themselves. Now this is epic. In Season 1, the show took the name Game of Thrones because that was the name of the first book, and that's kind of stayed with the momentum of the show. All of the fantasy elements in the War of Ice and Fire seems to be more of a backstage for everything that's happened in all the seasons. The game around the throne, the politics, the backstabbing was a central element to all the characters, and the plot got most of screen time and was the favourite of the fans. But now that Season 8 has approached, it's clear the Song of Ice and Fire will take the main stage. The slow build-up of magic and fantasy and this giant war that's being pushed together will come to a final and powerful clash. But if you're a fan on this channel, you probably know that already, so the main thing about this teaser I'm interested in is how the clash of the fire and ice forms this wall. Now it could just be an epic way to tease this conflict in quite an awesome cinematic effect, or it could be symbolizing something a little bit more. It was after the first long night in the battle between fire and ice that made the first wall and collided together and split the land there. Perhaps the wall is just going to move down quite a lot. Or we can look at the title of this teaser, Dragonstone, and we can kind of look at the black rock we see, or the black glass we see form from it. Maybe this teaser isn't as significant to the plot as we were trying to assume from it, but rather just a kind of interesting look of how they formed dragon glass in the first place, by combining the ice magic of the White Walkers, or the cold of the north, with the fire of dragons and the Targaryens. All of this is just speculation, and I'm just really hyped to see Game of Thrones finally releasing more. I want to see a full trailer, I want to see them put out way more teasers, and I want the show right now. But I guess we're just going to have to wait. Tell me your guys' thoughts about this teaser if you have any, or your thoughts about the next season, and just tell me how hyped you are for Game of Thrones coming this April. Because I'm bloody hyped.